Hey guys, before we start, a quick shout out to Alpha Dog Nutrition for sponsoring this podcast. Alpha Dog products are now available at dusupply.com, and you can use code ALPHADOG15 at checkout for 15% off and a credit for free shipping to try it yourself. Now let's get you to your podcast.
Welcome back to Interview Stories and Tells, where every Monday night we go live. If you want to watch us live, go to Interview Stories and Tells channel on YouTube. Today we're going to be talking about good dogs and bad dogs, and we got Madison, all the way from, I believe, Montana. She's a 14-year-old girl that's ready to get out and chase some hound, so you guys stay tuned. Don't forget to go to azwda.com and become a member of the Arizona Working Dog Alliance. It was. Then I went to get on my...
We're live. I clicked the button. We're live.
Yeah, I'm just going on. Anyways, I went to get on to log on, and I had to download a program to update my camera, basically. And you just walked in the door.
Just walked in. I mean, if my mules would have walked back to the house the way they walked going out, I might not have been here for 2 days.
No. That's the bad thing about leaving out of the house.
Riding right out. And, I've done it before. I didn't have that trouble before. But this time it was just terrible. And that pack mule, like packed water, that pack mule was just like a lead sled now. And every time I'd get after Bonnie, he would get scared, set back on it. And I got one of those, lead halters with the chain underneath them, and just wore me smooth out.
The good thing about that, if you have a stroke or if you're drunk and don't know where you're going, they'll head you right back. They'll take you right back home real quick.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when I was up there at camp up on the mountain, I just give Jed his head, and I doze and sleep, and just he knew the way back, Yep. But dadgum, I never had trouble with Bonnie like that before. She usually, really walks out good. And I never even wore spurs on her. Because I hate to wear spurs, because, you got to get off and hike and climb around and everything. And I hate to wear spurs like that, but she earned her spurs today now. From now on, I'm going to have a set of hooks on. And
you need a pair of spurs. You need to have, who builds them down there? Old, Clump.
I could get some.
Weinbar.
I could get some of those ones that just that clip on, or you can. I've taken them before, and then you spin them around and put them on top of your. You know what I mean? Spin them around, put the shank.
You need to get someone to make you a pair that flip up when you're hiking. They reach down and click them up, and they lock in up top. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Mm-hmm.
I came about that close.
You're getting way too retro.
I came about that close to taking a shock collar or taking a collar off a dog and weaving it underneath the britchin on that pack mule. And every time he sat back on the end of that, just pop him. I almost did, but I didn't.
Just a vibrate would probably work.
No, you give that thing some electricity, and he's liable to land over there 50 yards ahead of Brett.
Oh, I've done it before. I did it with Agnes. I did it with that mule I borrowed that time. She backed up underneath a stinking juniper tree and wouldn't come out from underneath it. And I didn't even fight with her. I didn't take the rope and whip her hind end or nothing. I just grabbed a collar off a dog because I'd done it before with that black mule I used to have. She sold up on me, and I did. I told that story before. And I was riding her. I wasn't on her when I shocked her, though. But she wouldn't even lead. Yeah, I know. I was way back there at my camp, way back up a canyon, and there was a little side trail, and there'd been a tom that'd come up there and scratched. And I was on my way back from making a circle, and I thought, well, I'll just ride up that side trail. And she sold up. I mean, sold up tight. I couldn't even lead her. She knew camp was that way, and we were going the other direction. And all those dogs knew I was mad. Of course, I whipped her. I broke off a branch, and I got after her. And she still just wouldn't. If anybody'd seen me, they'd probably thrown me in jail. But she just wouldn't go. So those dogs all knew I was mad, and they're all just sitting around in a circle, just looking at me.
staying out of whip range.
And this was back with the old fashioned, I had a tracking collar, then I had the Tritronics on there too. So I pulled the Tritronics off, weaved it underneath that britchin', and man, I tell you what now, after that, she went. And the other mules, Agnes, I didn't do her that hard. I just popped her a little bit, and she went ahead, and she was, she was lazy, but she was good. She never refused after that. She just got tired one time and thought she could get away with it. That other mule I borrowed, she just backed underneath a tree and just wouldn't go. And I shocked her. She came out. But Bonnie really didn't need it. You could put some spurs. I always wore Agnes with spurs, or wore spurs on with Agnes, and then I never have with Bonnie. Never had to. She just walks out so good. But they knew what they were communicating with each other, because one would set up and the other one wouldn't go, and I'd kick, and then the other one get scared because I'd get mad, start cussing, and but I got to tell the story. So I'm going up through there. And I'm in the video I'm making is really about this place up here where there's supposed to be buried treasure. And back in the 80s, I went and looked for it all the time. I mean, I had a big old gelding named Huggy, and I rode all that country. And I thought, well, I'll go back up there and look. And so I took off and got up there, and right where it's supposed to be. And there's a bunch of places where they've mined and dug, and people have been up there looking for it. And I'm riding along. I see the dogs. I just had 3 of those females with me, and they start whipping their tail. And I looked down. I thought, oh, man, here we go again. We're going to catch another javelina. And look down there. Man, there's a big old nice lion track. I mean, and they're whipping their tail, and then they started open on it in the sandy wash. And I thought, man, this is fresh, fresh, fresh. And we were going the right way, and then I found tracks coming back the other way. And so I thought, well, he walked back and forth in here. We just bumped him. And, up on the sides of those hills, it's rock and everything, and kind of bluffy. And I thought, man, I'll just make some circles in here, and I'll be able to pick him up where he left out. And I circled and circled and circled, and I never could get it started out of there. And so then I started, I think that wasn't too long when I talked to you, Chris, and there was this little old canyon, had a pretty decent game trail going out of it. And I hit that little game trail, and I found that track, and we trailed it backwards. And those dogs trailed it backwards like they were going to catch it. I mean, just bah, 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 moving. Of course, it's a real protected little canyon, it's probably not 8 feet wide, and had some bedrock in it and stuff and some brush. So I'm sure the scent held in there pretty good. But we were backwards, but where I'll be tomorrow morning. Oh, there was a guy there also. There's like these, it's like where they loaded dump trucks or something, but I don't even know how they could get a dump truck up in that country. And there's a concrete block, and someone had killed an oryx or something, and they hung the feet up on this little archway thing. And then the carcass was laying right there. And the hind end and everything was gone, but the rib meat and the neck and everything was still there. So I bet you old Mr. Tom comes back. I bet he was around there. The dogs knew that was there. I bet he knew it was there, and he might be back there tomorrow morning.
Was it kind of fresh? Was it kind of a fresh kill?
Yeah, I didn't get too close to it. I didn't let the dogs get on it. I was a little scared. Anytime I see something like that, I get a little worried about the dogs, because I don't know. We got a ton of coyotes, and it's out on some ranch country.
Scared there might be some strychnine on it?
Exactly. I've had a dog poisoned before, and so I called them off, but I'm taking the terrorists up there tomorrow morning, and I'm not going on that stinking mule. There's a lot of little 2-track roads all around there. I'm going in the buggy.
Yeah.
But
you know where it was.
Let me tell you about that little female, Suki, I call her. She's wicked, wicked little dog. Wicked little dog. She don't weigh 35 pounds. She is opening up. She's never seen a lion in her life. She's opened up on that track in that arroyo. And then when we went out that canyon, man, she was in front of, Well, I had one pup with me, Bunny. She opened a couple times. She just opened because the other dogs were barking on it. And Iris and Suki, man, they trailed that sucker, and Suki was in the lead the whole time.
Is that
Trailing it
Suki
backwards.
dog the one out of the Davis Mountains?
No, Suki's out of, matter of fact, Iris is her mother. And Jack, the half running walker from Cody King and half blue tick, is her daddy. And then those 3 pups, they're sold already, are out of Suki. It was an accidental breeding, but so Al is the daddy of those. And Al's one of my favorite male dogs I got of the terrorists. Booger, of course, Booger's my favorite, but he's getting old. But yeah, she's, her full sister sold for a bunch of money. She went to a good lion hunter, and he got her on a bunch of lions and sold her, and she brought really good money. And then of course Joel has two litter mates to her, and he said he loves them. So there you go. Good dogs.
How is Cody? Cody is still in the hospital.
They didn't let him out yesterday.
Yeah, he was
No,
supposed to
I
come
talked
home
to him
today.
Yeah.
I talked to him today. He's still in the hospital, and then he had some kind of phone conference with some doctor specialist, so he had to go. But as of this morning, he was still in the hospital.
Here
He's
you
had
go.
like 4 surgeries.
Susan Stone. Mules are
that's-
sort of like women. There are only 2 ways to argue with a woman. Neither one works. Honestly, it took me a couple wives to learn that, but I learned it.
Me too.
A couple wives. You've had like 8, haven't you?
Just 3.
Yeah, but he learned it after the 3rd one.
I had a high school sweetheart. I had a practice one, and I got the one now.
A practice one.
Yeah.
I guess you could call my first one a practice one.
Mhm.
We practiced for 14 years.
Yeah, I practiced for about same thing, 13, 14 years.
Hey guys, Wayne's daughter, Benny's little friend, is all souped up, and she is hardcore. And what she say in this deal here? She's ready to talk about lion hunting. I think we ought to get her on for about 20 minutes tonight and see what she's doing with those young dogs.
Send her a
That's
link.
Brett's dog.
Give me a way I can send you a link, and you can click it. And as long as you got a mic and a camera on your smartphone or on your computer, you're welcome to come on. I'd like to listen to somebody else besides Benny and Chris for a change.
Yeah. I ain't got no stories anyways. I just been doing politics stuff, and I don't like it. But it's going. It's going good.
I don't like it, but somebody's got to do it. And I think you're good at it, Chris.
I don't know about the good part.
You're good at it. Benny would be good at it too. He calls and talks to everybody in the world. I call and talk to Chris.
I talked to 2 of my legislators this week, and that HB 5 to redo the game department and do away with the restructure of the game commission and how it operates. It went through one committee. It has to go through another committee and then go to the House floor. And the House took Friday off, and so the longer it stalls out, the better chance we have of it's not going to do anything. So right now, things look positive. Things could change, but right now they look positive.
Cool. Speaking of Cody, I did talk to Cody, not today. I talked to him day before yesterday. He was still in the hospital, and they were going to have to do skin grafts, take skin. I asked him, I said, are they going to take skin off your butt? And he said, yeah. And I said, that's going to be pretty tough. I said, you don't have much of a butt.
He ain't got
I told him, I said, well, if you need some extra skin, I said, I got some.
Okay.
I said, you could have some of mine. Wouldn't hurt me at all.
Hey, Brett, what is she needs to email you, right?
Email me, send me a text to, man, I hate to make my number this public, but I will for her.
I just.
Huh?
Yeah, I wouldn't put your number up. Does she have an email?
You can send me an email to Brett, BRETT, at born, BORN, 100 years 2 TOO late, LATE.com.
She's been advertising on Facebook. She's a 14-year-old girl with some hounds, and she's been taking them hunting, and she wants somebody to help her show them a lion. She did that without talking to her dad or anything. She's getting the bug extremely bad.
Well, they're up there in the snow country too, aren't they? They can,
Yep.
Yeah.
miles and miles, right?
Yeah. But at 14, she kind of needs somebody.
Yeah, Find somebody local. Find another houndsman up there to help her out.
Oh yeah, New Mexico Houndsman Associate. They do. They just raffled a TT15, and then they're raffling a dog box.
Where do you find out about that?
It says it right there, and I talked to him the other day.
No. But I mean, where do they make it public at, Ding Dong?
I don't know, NewMexicoHoundsman.com, NewMexicoHoundsmanAssociation.com, I guess. He needs it. I just told him, I said, you have to be on, he's kind of old school too, but I said, it don't matter. You have to be on social media. I post, and I post. A lot of posts. I ain't even announced. Oh, I got a good announcement Wednesday.
You're going to just tease us here on this show and not
well,
really?
We're doing a dog box too. February, we're giving away dog box, probably be $30 tickets. So, and we're giving,
what kind of
Wednesday,
box?
we're giving for a side-by-side.
Side-by-side box?
Yeah, Old South dog boxes said they'd give it to us.
Oh, yeah, I bet they will.
Apex dog boxes.
Cool.
He basically said, whoever wins it, send me the measurements, I build it. And if you want to add some stuff on, that's your business. But
you just couldn't help it, Chris. You just couldn't help it.
I had to rub that in. But
it's a nice dog box. I mean,
yeah,
it really is.
Well, it should be. They took as long as they took.
Just takes forever, and then there's no customer
Facebook
service
page. He does. New Mexico Houndsman Association has a Facebook page too.
Well, how come I didn't get a notification?
Oh, because John is not social media literate. I don't think yet. I told him you have to constantly be on social media. Holy moly! And if anybody noticed my hat, like that, value pack.
I even had a guy came down to see me, Randy Riggs. Thanks for coming by. Him and a buddy of his are going down to the Cherry Cows and going to be riding. He doesn't have any hounds, but he stopped at the Village Hardware there in Hatch, and I say he doesn't have any hounds. He's got a couple dogs, and they went in, bought a sack of value pack dog food. So that was cool. And he went in and he talked to Zane, which is the owner of the store, the guy who kind of made it happen for me. Yeah. And talked to him, told him he was there because he had heard about it from us, and cool. I like to see that.
Well, Brian reached out to me. That was I thought that was just cool.
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
Brian's a good guy.
But I'm not a salesman, so people ask you what you want. I'm like, oh, I don't know, handful of dog food. I don't care.
I'm the same way.
You got to be kind of aggressive, I guess. What do you want? I don't know, 4 pallets of dog food a year so I can give away 3 of them and feed my dogs the other one. But I'm just kind of like, and I don't want.
Chris, you're behind. You can get away with 1 ton of dog food a year?
No, that was just not being stingy.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Who's Richard Bisbee?
I know, they're multiplying.
God dang.
There's 3 Bisbees on here.
Yep.
No, there's 4.
Chris.
Rick Cooley became a member today.
Oh, cool. I became a member.
Oh, yep. And a donor.
A donor? Was I a donor?
Well, you paid for your membership, and so you got 3 entries on that caller Wednesday.
I became an affiliate. I didn't quite have the money to become a lifetime guy, but
there's only one person. That's a Californian.
He understands.
That guy got 20 entries on there, but I did some test runs, and there was the guy who donated $3,500, and I called him and I said, "Hey, you have like 70 entries on this Garmin," and he said, "I don't want that Garmin." He goes, "Just take them out." So I'll probably put them in for one, and if he wins it and wants to donate it back or whatever he wants to do, it's his business. But I can't not put them in. So I talked to a lot of other organizations, and people are kind of like, "Well, what do I get if I join? What if I get if I join?" I'm like, "What you get? You get someone going down and talking for you, dummy."
Representation.
You're gonna hit all.
I'm not a club.
You're gonna hit all the meetings and all that.
I do my best, and I even had a guy. Actually, I didn't get a chance to call him the day, but he said him and Kelly were talking, Glenn, and because I had said there was nobody there, and they were he asked me, should there be? And really, you should always have a handful of guys there just to show support and that you're there and you're paying attention. That's what I think. And maybe I'm wrong, but I'm going to go and tell them I'm Chris Watson. I'm with the Arizona Working Dog Alliance. What am I here for? I don't know. Let you know I'm here.
Well,
so you can
I'm
see
sure
my
that
face.
I'm sure that the people, I mean, I'm not sure how it all works, but the people who make the decisions, when they see support, I mean, it's got to influence them in some way. Where if there's no support, they think, well, shoot, nobody cares.
Well, yeah. How many houndsmen are in Arizona or New Mexico? You know, I'd love to take a poll. I would love to take a poll of how many houndsmen are, and maybe I'll try to, I got to find someone to build an app and just where you can log on to this app. You can say you're a houndsman and you can tell me how many lions and bears you tree or even kill. That way I can go to the Game and Fish and say, hey, I have 500 houndsmen that's reporting to this app and we've treed, I don't know, 700 lions, 800 lions, and we've killed so many lions. I think these sportsmen, I'm not going to just say houndsmen, you know, these sportsmen every organization should give a guy a little gas money to go check it out.
Yeah. Someone like you that's
my opinion. I think, and I screwed up. This last one I went to, I had to leave early and, I shouldn't have because they were talking about hounds a little bit, the lawyer guy. And you have to stay and mingle because these anti-hunters aren't going to stick around and share stories. They're going to go in, say their speech and leave because they're scared. Most of these guys are scared. You think Russ McSpadden's going to come hang out at the rendezvous? Go ahead. There she is.
Oh, and right then we freeze up. There she is, the little lion hunter from up north.
Hi.
With your dog.
Sorry, my Elon Musk is not really working that well.
Oh, you got the Elon problem too?
Yeah.
So, what are the problems you're having?
Tell us about your pup.
Well, the main issues I'm having is I don't really have a truck to get me out on the mountain, and that's mainly my main issue. I have the drive and I'm ready to go, and I just honestly need a truck to go.
You need a mentor.
Yeah, you need somebody, a driver or something to help. You got your driver's license and everything?
Not quite yet. I can get my permit in May.
Oh.
Yeah, she's only 15.
Yeah.
Well,
where you live? Where are you at? What state you in right now?
I'm in Montana.
Okay.
With the flag and everything right there.
Yep.
Behind me.
Oh yeah, I see that.
I never said I was smart. Come on.
I have a mountain lion tag. It's an unlimited tag right now. So.
When you say unlimited, what does that mean?
It means I can hunt in a bunch of different units for male and female cat.
Okay, cool. Have you been out and been able to cut any tracks yet?
Yeah, we think it was June or
without
December.
snow.
It was December. We went out with my dad on the snowmobile and my older brother, and I actually found a mountain lion track. We let the dogs go in. They ran for about 30 minutes or so, and they what we seen on the Garmin was it looked like they treed it, and we ran in and they came out on the road, and my dad seen them, so we kind of had to run back out, and they just kind of lost the cat. We think it might have jumped a tree or something. But
Yeah. Could you tell from the track, was it a tom or a female or?
The tracks kind of were a lot larger, so we assumed it was a tom, but we couldn't really tell much.
Well,
it's a start.
That's better than I've done.
That's right. So tell us, how are those pups doing that you got in August?
Opal's doing great. She, when we take her out, she'll glue her nose straight to the ground and she won't quit sniffing. It's great, honestly.
Did she open on that? Did she open on that lion track? Bark on it?
I wasn't there that day, actually. That was one of the days we decided we were just going to play our cards and put different dogs and work them together, like older dogs instead of the pups. And that was honestly a fail in my part.
I keep trying to look around the corner. Move your camera.
Yeah, my camera's not working.
Well, shoot, you just got to put the miles on. Just figure out a way. Find somebody to help you and.
That's the thing. You have to find somebody who's willing to help you out. Let your dog
her dad's
go down
not
with
there.
dogs. No, he's
Wayne's
working another
not there.
state.
Oh, he's
Yeah,
having to
so
work.
so she needs somebody in Montana. What part of Montana are you in?
I'm in around the Kalispell and Hungry Horse and Coram area.
There you go, guys. If there's anybody or you have any connections out there, help this girl out.
Got to help these young hunters. They're the future.
That's the only
And
reason I'm doing what
she,
I'm doing. It's because of that.
yeah,
I've
So we
talked
can
to some
hunt
older
tomorrow.
houndsmen out here, and they really don't want nothing to do with me. They usually tell me a bit about what they hunt, and then tell me to go fly a kite. But I mean, it's okay. I
Well, no,
honestly
just send Ben. I'll forward your email to Benny
uh,
and get their names so Benny can go up there and talk to them.
yeah, that's a bunch of bullshit. But you know, Brett on Big Game Houndsman, that's how I got to know Missy. Remember? Because she was trying to get lion dogs and get hunting and
Mm-hmm.
all that, and all the guys were taking advantage, giving her less than perfect dogs, and you know, being a female in this deal isn't the easiest deal. I know that, period, because I've
yeah.
known some women and they became successful, and they had a harder road to go than we do. But
Well,
this young lady right here, she deserves. And if anybody ever gets in your business, your dad's not around, let me know.
there you go.
I
Jared
mean, I
Fisher
got
right there says he has a buddy in how do you say that? Kalispell? Kalispell?
hmm I think
There you go.
I'm gonna be like straight honest with you too. Is you're also a 15-year-old girl, so I think a lot of people are scared of that.
Absolutely.
So if you had, you know what I mean. So if you had, because there are a lot of weird people out there, anyways. But if you had someone that went with you, a brother or a friend, you know, that might
yeah.
make somebody feel a little better.
Very good, Chris. That makes a lot of sense.
hmm I mean, I would be
did have
like you,
people that for
Yeah.
a long time, but yeah.
or if it's a family friend, that'd be better if you knew somebody like Jared's buddy. So, but there you go, Jared. See who said that, Jared. Chris, get a hold of me. I'll have Jared give me that information, and then just email me your contact stuff.
Okay, sounds good.
You just go
For
just
your
email azwda@outlook.com.
Okay, we'll do that.
There you go. Do you have
We'll hook
any
you up.
do you have any
Somebody.
question? Do you have any questions or anything? Anything that
I honestly just wanting to get out into these woods. No big questions.
just find that
and
track?
you're homeschooled, right? You're
Yeah, I'm
homeschooled,
home.
so
Yeah.
so there you go. There's some open opportunity there because you know that she knows the principle.
I mean, it's not that I'm not willing to go out. I'm honestly willing to go out anytime as early as possible to go get the cat, and I have the drive to go. I just don't have a truck. That's my issue. Is
You're
I don't
not
have a
old
way to
enough.
get up there. Yeah.
You're 3 years ahead of your time.
That's the issue.
Well, take advantage of that drive while you got it because it kind of dissipates after you get
That's
some
right.
years on you.
Man, listen, I
mean,
just turned 50 and I went and ran around the day, came home, laid on my beanbag, and 3 hours later got up and said, "What the hell?
I know.
Where did
Oh
that
my
happen?"
gosh.
Oh,
I
yep.
just rode about a 15-mile circle, and I tell you what, that ride back tonight was long and hard.
Which is Brett telling you we're not going to be on for 3 hours today, guys.
No, I got to go to
Brett
bed
starts
because
getting quiet.
I got to be back out there early in the morning,
Yep.
and then my
There you
wife's
go,
not
Madison. I'm
not real
sorry, Brett.
happy with me because I have an appointment tomorrow afternoon. And I said, that don't matter. And she said, well, I made that appointment for you. And I said, you don't understand. I found a fresh lion track. She doesn't get that excited about him.
He's
Yep.
not really quite the hunter.
No, she don't care anything about it, but she takes good care of me. So told her, I said, I'll be back early enough.
How many
So
dogs you got
Madison,
over there, Madison?
I believe right now we're working with 9 dogs,
Mhm.
around maybe 10 or so. But I got walkers, blue ticks, and cur puppy, walker and cur puppy.
Do you guys have advice or tips or things she can work on at home or close to home to prepare her dogs?
I've already been in touch. She reached out to me, and she was wanting to know about scents and stuff, and I said, well, I don't know about it anymore, but Graz used to have a lion scent, and out of everybody that had lion scent, Graz was the best. I would be careful to not get them just looking for that scent all the time, you know. Don't just no don't let them know where the scent starts. You need to start it and then go back and get your dogs and just take a walk about and go somewhere off in the country and then step across it and see what happens and you'll know if they're taking it the right direction too because you laid that drag. But it's not as important to leave a huge trail. You know, I've never been one that believed that you needed to do anything special for bears, but just because bears leave so much scent. But as far as the lions go, if you wanted to, I told you that to get some Graz lion scent if you wanted to leave some drags.
You can work
Yeah.
with, and I believe as much as anything is you put a really good handle on those dogs.
Yep, manners, especially if you're going to hunt with someone else.
And
Make sure they got manners.
just for instance,
Yeah.
today with my dogs out there, I mean that female, she's never seen a lion. Now Iris has seen 3 or 4 lions, but when they were there and that track was there and they were whipping their tails, I mean I encouraged them. I mean, and they knew I was excited. But they also know, you know, if they're messing around with something wrong, they can feel that too. But they come, you know, they come when they're called. They come and you know they have. I really try to put a good handle on my dogs, and for them to know when you know the boss is excited. You know, we're excited about that, and I think that
Well,
I
yeah,
believe that helps a lot.
I think you alluded to it, Brett. You said the boss is excited of it. And Madison, you've heard us talk about this, I don't know, 50 times that you've got to be the alpha in your pack.
Yeah.
And that's what
There
Brett's talking about. That's, you know, if you've got a handle on your dogs, they know who's in charge.
Yeah,
Yeah, there are certain dogs who have to learn that you are the alpha, and they'll mess with you on a certain level to try to show you that they're bigger, but they're really not. Once they learn, they don't try to pick on you no more and treat you like you're a pup. It's hilarious to watch.
It's hilarious just hearing you go through these lessons.
I
I'm
know.
getting a
It's
kick
like you're
out of it.
talking to a 20, 30-year-old. Yep. You're getting it. At least you get it mentally.
and no matter what, all these guys tell you, everybody makes mistakes. I mean,
Absolutely.
it's not. I mean, let me see if I can show you something here.
I mean, even Richard Dickerson said, no matter what, you're still learning, you know?
Yeah.
Which part 2 of that, we've gotten lots of compliments on that interview, and that's coming up this Thursday, part 2, on W Hunting Supply podcast.
So, Madison, you reach out to Chris, and he'll find out from Jared, and it looks like, at least for now, the ball's started already.
Your dad has my number. He talks shit to me all the
Yeah.
time. He texted me the other morning, and I just had some little answers because I was busy. And I think I was eating. I don't know what I was doing. And he said, "Oh, did I just wake you up because you're not talking so much shit to me?" And I said, "No, I'm just busy."
That's good.
So, yep, you're learning. Just pay attention. Get on those. I mean, there even social media. There's a lot of good stuff on social media. And honestly, if you go to Big Game Houndsman and go through all those old posts, there's a bunch of old
The
posts.
old ones. Yeah,
That's
go
a
through
good
the
one.
ones 10 years ago.
From
Mhm.
some really good, knowledgeable guys too.
Mm-hmm. You know, even
And if you
stupid
get
advice is
bored,
good advice because it'll teach you
yeah,
what not to do in the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
See,
I need to find a time when Madison's got free time where she could be gone for 2 or 3 weeks
She's
and
homeschooled. She
get
could
her
leave whenever she wants.
but I need to get her. I need to set the deal up with Missy Hale over at Mule Creek.
You have to talk to
Missy
my
would
dad
be a
about
good mentor. What? Don't you agree, Brett?
oh yeah, absolutely. She went through the same thing.
She went through the exact same thing.
Okay, since I was talking about mistakes, I've caught 2 of these suckers in the last 2 weeks, and I've caught 2 coons too. At least the coons climbed a tree. But they started this up in the boulders, and I was convinced it was a lion track. Matter of fact, they started this probably not 3 or 4 miles from where that lion track was today. But heck, they caught it, It was a little javelina.
In the old days, you shoot it, hang it, and come back and get the lion that's eating it.
There you go.
Maybe that's what I'm doing. I just won't tell anybody.
Yeah, yeah. Put a camera. Don't forget to put a camera on it. Yep. Have you ran that on coons or anything, Madison?
I've run coons before. Yeah, I never run pig or javelina nor nothing like that, to my knowledge of what the dogs have ran. But we've had some issues with a little bit of deer, and some porcupine. That was the most interesting. Ooh. Yeah.
There you go.
Man,
that's that little female that I like so well.
That's a big raccoon for the desert.
She treated that sucker. She's a nice dog. I like her. And I think that she's a full sister to the dogs you have. Real nice dog.
Cowboy and Madison's dog?
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
You guys are solid men in my book. Your dad don't know us very well yet. Just got to keep at it, Madison.
Madison is solid in my book. You look behind me, and she's the one that come up with this.
Mm-hmm. I got elk season starting, and I got my club over here with my scope on it, right over here in the corner still. Make a video. You might want to sight that scope in. Yeah, I got to go sight it in here.
Yeah, sight that scope in. You'll get them.
One day.
Oh yeah, definitely. You'll have to. Send me a picture of the elk when you get it.
I am. You're the first one. Your dad has my number. Get my number from your dad.
I'll have to talk to him when he gets off work. See what I can do.
So we'll find someone up there to drag you along.
Yeah, this should be a start. Maybe somebody will see this or have something.
Just stick to it. Stick to it.
Oh, there you go.
Right.
I'm just ready to go. I mean, as soon as I seen it was snowing over here, I charged my Garmin and my collars, and I don't know. I felt like I did it for no reason after all.
No, it's never for no reason. You never know. You never know.
It's what I'm drinking right now, Steve.
But the last time I went out, I took Opal out, and she walked down to the river by herself, came back up, had no issues, and she ran throughout the tree line, and I watched her on the Garmin. She went far back and then came over again and just started sniffing around and stayed close by, and I was like, okay.
How far do you think, how far did she cast out like that?
She usually keeps it in between 2 to 4 miles away, but unless she's with the other dogs, she won't go too much further than that.
Yeah.
And then she'll come back when I call her and stuff. But the last time we went mountain lion hunting, we took her out, and she was loving the snow, but she ran all the way down there, sniffed both sides of the creek, and was just loving it. And then she came back up and mowed it up easy.
Sounds like you got a handle on her already.
I mean, just about. She gets a little stubborn sometimes, but
she's a hound.
She's a hound.
That's right.
I keep my dogs a little tighter to me than that. I mean, of course, I'm constantly. All I do is put dogs on the ground and free cast and try, go through the dry ground. So I keep them pretty tight.
When I'm out on my mule, when I first start out, I try to keep them within 200-300 yards. Yeah. And then as I kind of keep going, I'll let them go out a little further. But I don't like them much more than 800 yards from me. Like, I'll let them get out there 600 to 800 yards because they do these circles around you. They'll come around, and I think my dogs have already known how I ride, and and they kind of come back and they'll check in with you and they'll go back out. I love that. But when they start getting out there a mile,
Yeah.
like when you're on man, you just, to get to that mile, depending on where they are and find out what they're chasing, that could take you an hour,
Well, yeah,
depending on where they are.
mine's 300-400 yards. I start working I start worrying about it, and I always say they got to ask for permission. They got to open on something and let me have a chance to go over there and try to investigate and make sure they're on not on a javelina.
I haven't had a Madison. That porcupine lived with my dog for 2 weeks in that kennel. I haven't had a problem since. I don't know if that would work or not, but I'm going to tell you how I cured porcupine. And I had a bad stint of porcupines for a while. I had dogs. I just went and ran them on the damn railroad tracks just for practice, exercise. And they ran off. Didn't come home for 2 days. Both of them porcupined up, and it was like the third time. They don't learn. And I left those porcupine needles in them for 2 weeks, and I gave them shots of penicillin where they wouldn't get an infection. And that was the last time I wet their food down, and I got the big ones out, but all those little ones all over their mouth, they had them through their tongues. I had to pull them out of there. And I'm going to tell you, Yuppie, I drugged him up, and he was still trying to bite me. And that's why I said, you know what? You're going to stay in there. And it did. And they never got porcupines again. Yeah, I wouldn't let him get out I wouldn't let him get out her right now. I wouldn't let her get out too far.
No.
By herself, not by herself.
Yeah, no, I try to take this little Jack Russell out. He'll watch her and try to bring her back over when I call him and her. But if I don't take a pup out, I'll take the little Russell out and he'll come with her. They're great.
Well, I think you're doing real good. Just got to keep on it, and just got to find someone who will let you jump in the truck, and he'll call you a big dummy and tell you're stupid for a while. A good houndsman will, anyways.
And there will be nothing like that feeling when you see that first lion in a tree. And there's just there's nothing like it. It's like wow, because you gotta work so hard to get that first lion in the tree on your own, and when you do, it's just like it's a feeling. Like I had a guy tell me that one time, or an old hunter looked at me and said, "Tell me, how'd you feel when you caught that lion?" I said, "Man, I don't even have the words for it. I don't." And
it really don't go away. Like every time you get something else, it's the same thing. It's like your kid graduating school that was a punk, and you're like, oh, he graduated, yes. And it's over and over. It's over and over. You catch another one. You catch 2 a day, it's the same thing walking in on the second tree or third tree. You're just like, God, it just gets better.
Yeah.
So it never goes away. It don't go away for me.
No.
But it's the same when you tree a coyote or an elk or deer too. The opposite feeling is the same. It don't go away. It's the same feeling when they're chasing elk and coyotes. You're like, damn it.
Yeah,
damn
it's like this. Oh my gosh.
Well, I know that's I'd caught another javelina the week before. I caught this one. And that one I reprimanded the dogs, pretty severely. Not real bad, but this last one, they got a pretty good education on this last one because they were down in the hole with that stink pig.
Definitely don't punish them unless you know exactly what they're on too, man.
Yeah, well, that's always been I always say the same thing. I get a little trashy too. I try to make things into lion tracks.
Well, the worst part is when they are trailing something or they're out there working, you can hear them and you don't know what it is. You can't find a track. And then they blow up. You're like, oh, man, you're watching how they're running. Like I know how a bear runs and lion runs. You know how a coyote runs. And them deer and elk, you can kind of tell the difference. But, man, I don't like correcting a dog unless I absolutely know. Or they're going to the reservation. If they're going somewhere they're not supposed to go, you can shock a bear and lion. They'll chase one the next day. So.
Well, that's what happened on that javelina. Booger was opening up there in those boulders, and this is up on a big old bluff and going across some rough country. And I didn't climb up there because they were going parallel to the way I was going. So I thought, shoot, that's pretty good. And I'm still not convinced because Booger never went to those other dogs until I went around the hill. And I thought, honestly, they were balling in that cave hole. And I thought, well, they got it jumped and they caught it right there. So I climbed my fat butt up that mountain, got up there. And then when I started going up there, then Booger came running around. But he didn't run with them on that javelina to go. He was still, I don't know if he was just, you can make up a story. But when I went around the hill, he came and they had it caught. And he now, it's not like he was broken. He said, no, I'm not going to bark at this. That sucker in the hole popping his jaws. He said, I'm all in for this now.
Are we going to fight him? We're going to fight him, guys? We're already here in trouble.
But I don't even have, like on Booger, because I don't want to accidentally shock him. I took the little prongs out of my Garmin because you can just tone him. I mean, and he knows that he doesn't have to be shocked. And I've made mistakes before by having, the other dogs want to trash on me and him be next to me, and I push the wrong button and by accident and shock him. So I just took him out.
Yeah. That Beth, probably, I don't tell stories much here, but I had a cancer kid I took hunting, and we was over there down by Tunnel Basin areas, and I came across a trap, and a big tom had come and sniffed this trap, and it had one of them balls in it. This was years ago, and it was tweet, 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 had some feathers on it, and it just kind of, and I seen a tom track, and my dogs went over there, and I trailed into it. And that tom was messing around in there, probably hitting that thing with his paw, and then he went up a hill. And my dogs just, man, I'm watching him. He was caught. I knew it. I had a cancer kid with me. I had a lady that was filming it, and this kid, we'd go all the way up this mountain. I mean, and then I'd lose. I can't hear him. And then I would start hearing him, and it wasn't picking up on my GPS. We get to the top of the hill, and then I can hear them. They're way down the bottom, and I'm like, oh, I think we just caught this big tom. I get down there, and it's in a cave, and she's filming it, and there's blood everywhere. And man, as soon as I walk up over the ridge, and they're down below me in a little bluff, and I see all that blood, and I hear it, chomp, chomp, chomp. I said, God. And she's filming. There's nothing I can do. I can't even make up a story. My dogs weren't exactly broke on javelina. And when we got to the top, I seen a ton of javelina tracks. You could tell they scattered. So I think I was trailing that tom, and they jumped a big quarry of, javelina, or whatever you call it. And I think everybody took off, and it was a scramble, and everybody just said, we're trailing something and it runs off. And, I don't know, maybe there was a kill up there that I didn't see, but had to, and then I was on film, so I had to be tough and crawl in this cave, and it was a big javelina, and that thing was trying to come after me. And I said, nope, it's just a javelina. So all that work, the trail, it was perfect. And sure as shit, we hit some javelina, and I think they just, something running.
Good.
Yep, and I had Luke then, and Luke, he was broke, but he was down there too. Same thing. He was like, well, guys, we blew this one. We might as well just go have some fun. And the blood was from a dog that got punctured right here in the jugular, and it had quit bleeding or whatever. Got back to the truck, loaded my dogs up, and one of the dogs jumped back down and landed on him, and it opened up like a faucet. I had to stick my finger in it until it stopped bleeding again. And I had to let him right up front. And I had my finger in that for a while till it quit bleeding, but I didn't want him to hit it again. And good old javelina, man.
What's that you say, Brett? Broke company?
Broke company, exactly.
Yep. Probably one of my pups, my younger dogs. When you're dumping, it looked like there was 20, 30 javelina in that little pack there. And there was tracks there where they were all bedded up probably up there. And we trailed that lion probably hunting them javelina, trailed right up in there. I mean, that's what I'm going to say to make me sound better. And those dogs hit those javelina. And so no matter how great you think you have it and how good your dogs are, there's going to be that one point that tree you walk into you're excited about, is going to do a 180.
There you go.
Yep.
That's what everybody needs.
They look alike.
Same color, everything.
Oh, that's funny.
Who was that? Who was that?
I think that's Marty Beard.
Oh.
So Wayne says that Madison has a story about Howard and Pinky. What's that about?
Oh, Howard and Pinky. Well, I had to sell my hound, one of my first hounds, Pinky, and my dad had to sell his dog Howard, and we sold him off to a native on the Browning Reservation, and he took the dogs and he treed.
Yeah. Just recently, right?
We couple months back, yeah, actually, and he just caught another mountain lion with that female that I gave him.
Oh wow!
I think yesterday or today, I believe.
I think your dad sent me a picture of it. Let me find it.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, we've trained lots of hounds, and for that kid to buy those hounds and train mountain lion with them, was honestly an amazing thing to see that the dogs we trained could do that type of thing, and it was awesome. That kind of made us have more hope for our dogs in the woods. So yeah.
Here's Howard. I have a video of Howard.
Yeah, he's a really good hound. We got him back, and
Howard was
ready to go mountain lion hunting again.
Let me see.
He was actually one of them to go in on that mountain lion track I found while we were on the snowmobiles, which was great. He was first to smell the track and run in and everything. It was great.
I sent it on your messenger, Brett, but I can send it to your phone.
Yeah, be better. Send it to my phone.
I just did. It'll go through, hopefully.
Okay, guys. What was the topic? Good dogs, bad dogs?
Yeah, where are all these dogs? You know, you have these dogs. My dog, I started out with Luke and Cece were kind of Scooter. I had Cece and Scooter, and they were kind of from the same line, but opposite size. One was the old line, one was a new line of a guy out of Globe. And it was Tim and Andy Salazar. I got some of their dogs. It's my line I started. I mean, Cece was great. She was just great. I mean, she started rigging squirrels. So I'm like, oh man, I kind of got her on bear and lion, and then I got Luke out of New Mexico. I couldn't tell you who or when or what, but he was one of my made dogs that I could take out and catch stuff with. So I had good dogs, and you just start breeding them back and forth, and that's how I got my line now. So, Luke was blue tick, Cece was red tick. You got these dogs that are good, and they just get old and die. And I had that reporter ask me, that journalist, he said, what about the old dogs? What do you do with them? I said, well, we don't bash them in the head with a rock like the anti-activists try to make you. I said, they die on our couch, or we'll give them to a young kid that will train their little puppies, and you give them to a 14-year-old girl or boy, and they train their puppies on coons and stuff. I said, they get their full life, and these dogs are, I said, I feed my dogs probably better than my kids. So, but I mean, and then you get those dogs that come and go, and those dogs will work better for someone else. I've had people give me dogs that say I can't stand this dog, and that dog worked for me great. But when you have a guy that's pulling ears too hard, and then you have somebody that can read a dog. I'm not no John Klump or Warner Glenn, but I feel I can kind of read some dogs, and I got a dog from a guy. I actually paid as the first dog I ever bought for $800, but she was emo. Oh boy, she just shake a finger at her, and it's like you shocked her on 18 for about 18 minutes. She wanted to please you, and she did good. And I wouldn't even put a shock collar on her. The only reason I did was just in case, but honestly, I didn't have to.
I don't need to.
You didn't need to, and if you did, she acted different. She just maybe PTSD or whatever of old owners, but and she did me real good. And I had a split race in Globe, and half of my dogs. This is kind of kickbacks of when you're running everything. I had half dogs chasing a bear and half dogs chasing a lion. And that bear went off into the Salt River Canyon, and she went off. You know, them bears, they know how to go, and them dogs just fall. She fell, and I think she busted up her liver and swole up, and I lost her. And then I had another dog I got from the marshal, and same thing, man. He was a great dog, but he got the cancer, you know, and ended up dying on me. And Scooter, same thing. He went off the cliff. He was my original dog, and he was old, and he still ran, and he was chasing that same bear. It went off that waterfall. And he lived for, I don't know, a month, and then just one day he was old, and he was just dead. You know, I won't get rid of good dog. You know, no. Cece was 15, and Cece, I got really lucky, and she just one day she'd get off her chain, and she'd stay around the house, but she never slipped her collar. And one day I walk out there, unless someone showed up to my house and stole her, but I walked out there. She was 15 years old. She was still going. I'd put her on the rig, and I'd let the dogs run the bear, and if it was treat, I'd let her go in, you know. But she, man, I tell you what, it don't matter. I'd drop her, and she may not make it right on time, but she would make it. And she just slipped her collar and left the yard, and I never seen her again. I don't know if she just went and died somewhere of old age. I hope, but it's just kind of weird. It's, you know, I don't want to put dogs down. My kids make fun of me because I'm kind of big butt. When it comes to my horses and dogs, I think they've all put them down for me. If I had, you know, I feel like I've made it to where I'm not around when they got sick. I didn't have to do it. So
I could have put a mule down today.
and then put her down again later.
Yeah.
Just for fun. You know, but I mean, as bad as these dogs make us, and I had a dog, Andy. Shoot, I got him tattooed on me. Man, you don't know how many times I just all I had to do is pull the trigger on it.
Where's the tattoo at?
Right here on my stomach.
On your stomach? Jeez. Ah.
And then Cece's gonna go in the middle. Just got to find someone to do it. And then I got a spot for Dirty, because those are kind of my main dogs. That was Andy and
spot
Cece.
for Dirty.
Yeah.
Me and Benny could have a whole pack of dogs on our bellies.
Well, you got those ones. And Andy was my love-hate dog. I hated that dog so bad, but man, he was. I should have named him Lenny, off of Mice and Men.
Lenny,
the big dumb guy. You know, he had heart. He didn't, but he could rig a bear a mile away, but he could also rig a porcupine a mile away.
Yeah.
And he was always trashy, but I'd always had him on the rig, and I'd watch him, and then I'd watch Dirty. If he rigged and then Dirty rigged, then I know it was probably a bear. One time
he needed to have a cosigner.
He did. You know, one time I'm like, well, all right, that was a good rig. And I let him go, and 80 yards later, he had a porcupine tree and a pine tree. I'm like, this is why I don't let you down by yourself. You know, he would just go, and he pushed Dirty. They pushed each other, two big dogs, and they wouldn't quit because each one of them wanted to get to the tree first.
They competed with each other.
Yeah, no matter how tired they were, they would just keep going. And they would, yeah.
Excuse me for a second, guys.
Oh, here we go again.
Yep. Gotta make pee-pee. So you have those dogs, those certain, you know, even though you have 100 dogs, man, I've had over hundreds of dogs, 100 dogs. You know, I've been doing it since the 90s. I got rid of my first pack, and I regret it because I had Bam Bam Walkers. And then I got back into it in about 2000s, and I ended up with a couple dogs and just said, oh, man, I got to get it. You know, and I had one mentor when I was in the 90s, and he was pretty smart on stuff, real big loner. You know, he'd ran coons, and we'd run the Gila Bend and run some coons, and he'd go to Florence, run some lions, and real simple guy. You know, and then I got these dogs, and out of all those, out of all hundreds of dogs, you have a handful that you'll get a tattoo about, or you'll stick out in your mind. Luke was one, CC, Andy, Dirty. Other dogs, sometimes they just come and go. They're good dogs. They're just
They're part
just
of
a
the
dog.
pack.
They're a dog that works. They're not overachievers. They're not that dog that you remember. And there's very few of those dogs that you really remember that you talk about. Like Bolt. There's those dogs, and then it's just those dogs that make history. And I might not be in the books, but there's those dogs you remember. If someone asked you, Benny, who's the best dog that comes out in your brain when you're thinking about your good dogs, who would it be?
Dora, then it'd be Derek, then it'd be. I've been fortunate. I've had a lot of those high fours, and I've had a lot of fives, and
Hmm.
then I've had a lot of threes that really stood out too. When we had Dickerson on, and somebody over there in the comments made a comment about, if you guys kept a dog for, I think it was when Dickerson was on. But anyway, if you keep those dogs too long, give them a chance, we're wasting our time. But it just depends. It just depends on you. It depends on the dog. It depends on a lot of different things. I gave that Jazz dog to Brett when she was a pup, and Brett, I don't know what he did, but he says he messed her up, and she was a late bloomer. And most female dogs come on faster than most male dogs. So,
Yep.
what did you do, Brett? How old was Jazz before she started coming on?
Oh, she had to be close to 2 before she came on. And a lot of that was my fault, and the way I ruined her, we were way up on top. Benny, where you and I were up there on top that time, but I was further to the east or west, excuse me, way up in there, that rough country, and we were on a line.
It didn't get any smoother from there, did it?
No, it's terrible, rough country, and we're trailing, and we were backwards on the track, and I turned all the dogs around except her, and she just kept trailing backwards, and I called her, and she wouldn't come, and then I toned her, and she wouldn't come, so I had to pop her. And when I did, she took offense at it. She was growing up on us, I think.
Yeah,
and it's like the same time every night.
Have to call Trump.
It's like 7
Benny,
like
you
7
call it.
buckets.
You call everybody in the world. Benny, why don't you give Trump a call and tell him to talk to Elon about this stuff?
Oh, that's great.
I'll just go down there and have a little face-to-face with Elon.
What about you, Brett? What's the dog that sticks out in your mind?
I love that Susie dog I had. I didn't give her much of a chance. But she was a good dog. She trail line real good. Thought the world of Bo, and then Bo got senile. And I was hunting with what's his name? Oh, shoot, I can't. Keith Wilkerson. And, Keith's hunted lions forever, and, he's hunted with Warner Glenn and everybody. And we were coming out, and the dogs were trailing, and Bo went up there on the side of the hill, and he started bawling on a track, but he would bawl, and then he'd look. And Keith said, that dog's trying to pull these dogs off this track. He was getting senile, I guess. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And he died in my yard. I never took him out hunting again. I never hunted him with the other dogs. I liked him up until then. I caught some bears with him. And my favorite dog was that Super Hoover dog. He came directly from Riley Miller, and he was out of that. He went back to that laser bitch that came from the Lee brothers. And, man, and you talk about a slow starter. He was slow starting. And I paid $400 for him, and that was way back in, I don't know, a long time ago. And most of the time, all he did was follow along behind my mule. But when he turned on, you could tree a bear with him, and then he'd work and track the next day. He was a good dog. And I got a picture here of these other dogs climbing trees I should show. But Hoover was a sit. Here we are again, frozen. Hoover was a sit on his butt tree dog. and I love that. He just sit on his butt and look up at the tree. Wah, 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 wah. No standing on the tree, no trying to climb or anything. Just sit on his butt and tree, and I really like that. Big old spade foot on him. I mean, you would think that he'd get sore-footed, and he never got. He was tough-footed, never got sore-footed. Then I had Solo and Blackie. They were good dogs, but they were in the same predicament as these terrorists. I mean, they'll go get you something caught, but it might be a javelina. But they were nice dogs. P, I love P. She's a cold dog. Cold. She's probably too cold, but she'll dang sure work out a track.
Well, these guys like these cold-nosed dogs, but you have to love trailing to have a cold-nosed dog, because those lions, if you're trailing, I see here guys brag, oh my, 3-day-old track. You know where that lion can be in 3 days? 100 miles away.
And I've done that. I've trailed through cameras before that I was far, a long ways behind, but I like to trail. I mean, I enjoy seeing where the lion travels.
Yep.
And you never know. I mean, I know Warner Glenn was talking about those dogs. After he said that, I recognize that you'll get into a bad spot and they ball up and you're on that old track and they're just, they can't leave out of that spot and they just ball up. And of course that's, your responsibility to move them. But it's nice to have that one dog that looks, he gets balled up and then he casts out and start, making big circles trying to figure out where that track went to. But, and of course, Booger, Booger is as good a dog as there is. And I've loaned him out. People have bred to him, and so he's got a lot of blood out there. But he'll dang sure cold trail an old lion track, but then he'll pick it up and go get something caught too. He's getting some age on him now. He's 12. I think he's 12. I think I figured out he's 12 years old right now. And he's showing the miles.
Yeah, it's my dirty dog. He's 11 next month. And he's a big dog. Little dogs, Cece was a medium dog, so 15. I think Dirty's like, I'm waiting for him to not go no more. And he's only 11, and then Andy was 10, but he got strep A in his leg and his skin fell off. It was horrible.
Jeez.
It's like ridiculous quick infection,
Yeah.
kind of like Cody's arm. It's like,
Jeez.
ow, it's sore. It's horrible. I sent you a couple videos. One's I think Howard dog and then the other one Tim Brink sent. I don't know if you caught that lion today or pretty lion.
I got the one in the snow is all I got now.
There's two of them. One's treating Howard. You'll hear him say Howard. And these anti-activists, that's all we do is kill. But if they said it's all I could do is pursue and catch lion or bear, it wouldn't bother me a bit. I'll be honest with you. But I'm not surviving off guiding or nothing. So
yeah, I don't.
I just.
I'm
just solely surviving off my feet pictures is all.
That is hilarious.
I heard the hilarity in your voice. It's my Madison. You'll get there.
Up, man.
You'll get there.
Oh yeah, you got that desire, you'll get it.
There's guys that get dogs and don't catch nothing for years. I caught coons and stuff, but as far as getting out and catching lions and bears and my first bear was a fluke. We woke up in 2010 and I had a buddy who said, I'm getting rid of dogs. I said, why? He says, no one to hunt with. I said, let's go try catch bear. And we did. We loaded up my Suburban. I had 2 dog boxes in my Suburban. Well, first I didn't have no dog boxes. And then of course you get one male that decides.
Good boy, Howard. Get him. Get him, Howard.
There's one. I sent you another one. I don't know if it's yet.
Hasn't come through yet.
It says it's delivered. And then, so we caught a bear track, and I think we could get. And I let the dogs out, and they didn't know what to do. And we get down the road, and I told my buddy, I looked right at him, I said, that bear needs to just run across the road so that our dogs know what it is. And not 45 seconds later, that dumb bear ran across that road, and that was the first bear we treated, and the first bear I shot, and the only bear I shot. And that was 2010.
And after that, you had bear dogs.
And after that, I just started running bears, and then I'd go out and run lions, both. I just enjoyed getting out with the dogs. I don't know. Maybe, I just think if you get into it, just like that photographer said, what is that, essay photography? He said, if you make money on it, you lose your interest. And I think that's, I've taken people out, and it's the stress of trying to get somebody else a bear. When I'm out by myself, I don't care. If I get one, I get one. So
I also got myself my own little YouTube of the hounds. Some of the videos of us going out for mountain lion hunting. But and cat, I'll post a bunch of videos about it.
We froze up again.
I don't know, it's that Wi-Fi, honestly.
Did y'all see that?
Yeah.
I think I had somebody pull up. Give me a second.
I seen that. When I seen that line in the tree, that's what made me think, man, I don't have to kill nothing. I just love going out and treeing stuff. So that's what it's about, though. For me, just running the dogs.
Yeah.
And Benny was thinking about getting back into dogs too, weren't you, Benny?
Yeah. Yeah, I've helped some people past, and I can actually put a pack of dogs together overnight. And I'm waiting on a buddy of mine that actually lives in the country and has more time, that we would go in on the deal together.
Is it like shared custody? He gets them for a week, you get them for a week.
No,
That way
in fact,
you don't have to
I even
clean up crap.
I even told him that I could come up with dog food by the tote, and it'd be more like he's in charge, and I know where there's a good pack of dogs that I get to go ride with close by, relatively close by.
Yep, it's hard to get out of. Really hard to get out of.
So, Madison, you haven't plugged your
what's your
YouTube channel? Your dad says you have a YouTube channel.
I think it froze up a little.
Yeah, I cut
What's
out
the name
right
of it?
before. It's at Sounds of the Hounds. It's on YouTube, and we pretty much post a bunch of training videos on the pups and everything. But as soon as I get my mountain lion, I'm gonna be posting videos on that and the adventures of doing that.
You know what I like about Madison? She doesn't say if, she says when I get my mountain lion. When I get it.
There's nothing about it. You gotta be ready, and you gotta have that mindset that you're gonna get a cat. You just have to go out, or you're not gonna get it. You gotta will it to yourself, honestly.
Gotta manifest it.
Yes.
Manifest it.
If you keep saying
visualize,
you're never gonna do it. You're never gonna get it.
Yep. Plain and simple.
It's
at
not,
Sounds of Hounds. There's Brett. He's back.
I'm back.
Oh, there you are.
I heard somebody drive by. It was my niece was here, and she just left.
You kind of live somewhere where nobody just drives by, too, huh?
No, yeah, that's what I'm worried about. I have this road that comes in. It's just a private driveway, but it circles all the way back around to where I keep my hounds. And I'm always worried people are just going to drive through and go back there.
Mine, I have all my hounds in the cedars, and the less they can see, the better you are. And I know I've put myself in a position doing this AWDA that it's hard to get in my yard. You're not going to get into my yard. Everybody threats and this, but I'm going to tell you what. If you can get into my yard without me knowing, then man, I don't know what you're doing. You're doing something good. Even when you go feed my dogs, even if you went in to feed my dogs, they'd probably bark at you. I walk back there, they all go to their dog houses. My kids feed them, and they're all barking. And I'm like, God, you guys quit letting them bark. But the less the public sees, and I know I get in a lot of arguments about this, but the less the public knows and sees about it, education is one thing. But these people that don't want us doing this no more, they like to run around and take a video of your dog that looks skinny.
Oh, yeah.
Even though you've been out for 3 weeks hunting and you get back home and it's on a chain. Someone just told me a story last night. I talked to a guy and he put 2 dogs down on a chain. I think he has them in kennels, but he put them out on a chain so he can feed them up real good. And, the next day, the animal control guy shows up, because they're neighbors. He has some Californian neighbors. I'm not picking on Californians. I'll be honest, I probably got more Californian members than I do Arizona members. Just a shame on you kind of guys. But, they'll do that. They do that. They'll do that. And I know I've put myself in that position where I'm kind of talking crap about them, that it's hard to find where I live too, because I have a fake address. So you're not going to find my address. I promise you. You can try, but you won't. But
how did you get that? I need a consultation. I
bought a property, and it was the original property was 100 acres, and that's what I bought it under. But I'm also subdivided now and under 4 other different addresses. But that address takes you way a mile away, a couple miles away actually, because it was the whole section of land and it was the original address.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Yeah, people are. I went out. I made a video. I went out to a place where I trailed a lion to water there before, and it's kind of a long ways out. So I went out there and camped, stayed the night, and tied my mules to a tree. But I carry grain with me. I carry a mixture of whole oats and grass pellets, and I fed my dogs. I only had 2 dogs with me, and I fed my dogs. And I fed the mules, but I didn't film it because the camera, the battery had gone dead in the camera. You should see all the comments I have on that video. People complaining because I didn't feed my dogs and I didn't feed my mules.
Oh,
and
because they know everything.
Yeah, I even had a guy complain about, because I video how I cinch up my mules, and you know how it is. Those mules they blow up, and then that leather stretches, and so you suck it up tight. And then, 2 or 3 miles down the trail, you got to get off and pull it up tight again. Somebody complained, said, you should never tighten up your mule that tight, blah, 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 blah. What? Why do people think they're experts when when they don't know nothing? And those mules, talk about water in those mules. I've had mules that wouldn't drink for 2 days. They just don't.
Yeah.
They don't think about it.
No.
Well, and even when you're hunting and riding, my mules, you take them to water even when it's hot, and they just look at you like, why are we wasting time?
You can lead a horse to water, right? The whole saying, but you can't make them drink is absolutely true. And it drives me crazy because they're sweating, you've been riding, and they don't drink. Yeah. I'm like, gosh, just pretend to drink. Make me feel better about myself, man.
Well, I just rode those mules today, and it got up to 78 degrees today, and I packed water for my dogs. But, and probably rode, a 15-mile circle, something like that. Got back, kicked them out in the pen. They go out there and they roll, and they walk up to the fence. They don't go to the water trough. They walk up to the fence. They're waiting for their feed,
Yeah, they want to eat.
Yeah, they didn't care anything about drinking water.
Yep.
But people don't understand.
No. And that's why this ain't really politics. This is people. They took Colorado, or they took Utah, and they took Wyoming, and they're taking that whole you can kill mountain lions whenever you want, and they're using it against New Mexico and Arizona and Nevada, saying, look at these heathens. They're going to do it again. We got to stop them from going to Arizona and New Mexico and being able to kill everything. These people just use everything they can. And while we're out hunting and having a good time and not giving a crap about that, that's all they do. They tried their best to make us look bad. their best. So that's what they do. They take those one little pictures of a skinny dog. I got yucky skinny.
Oh
I
yeah.
feed him 50 pounds of dog food tonight and tomorrow, and the next day. Come to my house in a month. He'll just have a big shit pile is all he'll have. He just don't gain weight.
My rusty dog. My rusty dog's just like that. And I had complaints about him because his hip bones stick out, and his ribs show. But man, he runs 90 miles an hour everywhere. And he's just a hard keeper. It's just the way it is. And I've been feeding him double what I feed the other dogs.
That's yucky. And that's what people don't understand about dogs. They're just like humans. They're different. They're all different. Their attitude, the mentality, their physique. Like we talked before, you walk by a hamburger stand, you gain 8 pounds. Some people can eat everything in the world all day long, greasy, nasty, fat food, and not gain a pound. It's the same with dogs. Exact same.
The difference is back in the day, everybody minded their business or they got their ass kicked. Today, there's no ass kicking.
Well, you got keyboard warriors, and in the old days, you had fist. Look at Rick. Whoopsie. He literally just did that last week. He pulled the guy off a horse that whipped his horse.
Oh, what happened? I didn't hear that story. What happened?
No, you remember when he was selling that horse, and that 25-year-old kid was on that horse trying it out, and everything didn't go right, and out of aggravation, that kid over and under Rick's horse and jerked him around.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, you know that story.
You don't, yeah, and you don't whip somebody else's horse.
But I tell you what,
Whoopsie.
Take an animal activist, have him come unhook your dog from his leash off your truck or something, and see how bad he gets his ass whipped. See how bad we don't care about those hounds.
Mm-hmm.
Because you'll get beat down. You'll get beat down. You may think you're saving our dogs, but you're going to get a beat down. So take him home. Take that dog home. Feed him where he sits on the couch and is a 10-pound dog that's 25 pounds. And you're telling me that's healthier than
I know.
Us letting a dog do what a dog is naturally born instinct to do and has been doing for thousands of years.
And that's what, I always said was cruel. Is to have those dogs and keep them pinned up all the time. Put them on a leash and take them to the dog park. Come on now.
Yep.
That's.
I got a question. That's been bugging me lately. Everybody says that the dogs are derived from wolves, but how do you get a dachshund? I'd have to really look into this. How do you get a dachshund from a wolf? What are you crossing a wolf with? What are you crossing a wolf with to get a Labrador? Wouldn't you have to have some sort of like I don't know.
I don't know. That's like all that other stuff that I used to kind of buy into it, but the older I get, the more I realize that those people just make stuff up. They want to sound important, so they talk about stuff like.
Hey,
the lion experts are crazy.
Here. Oh yeah, they all learned from a book too.
Mm-hmm.
Madison, while you're on here, what kind of dogs do you have? Do you have walkers? What do you have?
I got walkers, and then I have Walker Blue Tick cross, and then I have that dry ground lion hound that I got from Brett.
And that dog, and they all go back to Benny to Jazz because the terrorists.
Did you get 2 pups from Brett, or did you get one of those from Calvin?
No.
No, I got the dog.
No, it
from
wasn't
Brett.
Calvin's. You got 2 from Brett, right?
Didn't you get 2 from me?
No,
I can't remember.
Just one. Just one from
Who
Brett.
got? You brought 3. Cody Lynn got 1. Madison got 1.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Why did I get a?
No, that wasn't Opal. That was one of their dogs, actually. Believe it or not.
I know Cody Lynn got 1 from Calvin. Mooney, she's a brat. And then the other one went to the other girl, Haley.
Okay.
I call her so many names, I don't even know her real name, to be honest. And it got parvo and died. Actually.
I know.
So Madison just got 1 pup in August,
Opal.
and that was from Brett. Opal.
Mm-hmm. And Cody Lynn got the other one, but didn't you bring 3, Brett?
I can't remember.
Too much
Honestly.
apple. Too much apple pie. Kentucky apple
Hey,
pie.
Brett, I was talking to Kim Klump the other day,
Yeah.
and she told me that I should never let John feed you any of that stuff again, ever.
The green.
That green Kool-Aid.
Who is Tyler's wife? Caitlin?
Yes.
Caitlin?
Yeah, Caitlin.
She posted a video. And I just
Did you see that? Did you
I
see
just want to
that?
go on.
That
I go in my house. And I'm just like, I'm going to beat all of you kids because you're a bunch of sissies. Yeah. She's on that horse that's
5-year-old
going,
girl?
getting
Yeah.
stupid and bouncing around. And what's funny is she goes to the other horse and it starts to act up because the other horse ran off or whatever. And there's a little baby just sitting right there playing on the ground. My wife,
Oh, yeah.
like anxiety right away. I said, that's how them kids are raised right there. They are not afraid. This horse is like trying to buck her off and being a butthole. And she's handling it. She's handling
She doesn't
it.
even get a hold of the horn. She's
I
got a
text
hold
her.
of the reins. And
That's
yeah.
that's the one when you know they know what they're doing, because I watched her slide her hand down that rein and pull the little kid slide her hand down that rein, pull that horse's head around. I mean, that's what you do when a horse is acting up. You just, you're holding your reins like that, and you slide a hand down and just pull that head back around towards your knee, and they can't buck.
Yeah,
they can't buck hard anyway.
I text her and
That's
I said, your kids are awesome. Definitely awesome, man. So, yeah. And then who's that?
Olivia.
Tyler come around him and then ran that horse off so that horse would take off, and she just rode on with it.
Yeah.
Now
That's that 4-year-old last year that went after the goats in the dark.
Brett's nemesis.
She's tougher than I am.
No, Brett's nemesis was that 9-year-old that was roping goats.
Oh yeah, you're right. And that's still going on, right? That's in a month.
No. That
What happened?
Earn Your Spurs has been canceled this year.
What? I heard you say that, but I think my internet was breaking up, and I was going to ask you about it.
Earn Your Spurs at Douglas is canceled this year. They're already working on next year's deal. They've got too much stuff going on. They haven't had any rain since Brett and I were there last winter. And then on top of all of that, Kelly's husband got in a car crash and got himself all busted up and broke his neck and acted like a knucklehead. And so too much going on.
Here, check out this.
Ahead.
Check out this video. This will get you excited. These are the coolest little dogs. I think it was Marty just sent me this.
Let me look.
We lost Madison.
Just like that.
Shoot, we didn't get to say goodbye.
Let me see here. Let me look. Let me find Missy. She sent me a video.
Wayne pointed out that.
Haven't you known a lot of guys that bred those little dogs into their lion hounds, Benny?
Dwyers do it. A lot of people do it.
No, I've never known anybody that did, but I used them to train my pups, to get my pups started.
And they're cool little dogs.
They are cool. They've got as much drive to hunt as Madison Bisbee.
And moving that track like that, I mean, that's just cool.
So Wayne pointed out that you guys auctioned off that third pup.
Where'd the money go? We auctioned it off for.
That's where we got the $1,000 for Colorado.
Oh,
we literally, and I hope this year's going to be good. We have a bigger area. We can get in there whenever we want. Basically, we can get in there Thursday. We got a bigger area. Bam, she's back, and it's going to be the same people. You're going to be cooking. There's going to be steak. You can actually go to azwda.com and just hit all the links. You hit the rendezvous links, and it'll take you to the pickandshoveloutfitters.com, and you can order your dinner now. I think it was $25 last year. It's $35 this year. That's going to cover everything. And he did have a meeting with forestry, and they said, yeah, you can use that spot. So unless there's a fire, that's where we're going.
And when is it
Almost
again, Chris?
August 22nd, 3rd, and 4th. You can go to azhhr.com also.
Huh. Cool.
So, second annual Hound Hunters Rendezvous. And you
My
can order your dinner now. You better do it.
my one and only social event for the year.
Yep. I mean, we literally threw that thing together in a month last year, had 70 plus people show up, and we made all of our money sitting around my horse trailer eating dirty tacos from 12-year-old meat. And we never moved. We had breakfast, we made burritos, we made tacos, and then we just kind of went home.
I don't think I ever got out of my pajamas.
I think you stayed in your sweats all day.
I stayed in my sweats with my cowboy boots on, I think.
Yeah. We sat around and told a bunch of BS stories, and it was actually the best time we had. And we didn't know what we were doing. We had the dinner. We didn't do the auction.
And who was the live that we did with? Joe Hott?
Joe Hott.
What
did
a
do a live
character. Absolute character.
Yep. And he'll probably be there this year. It's a good time. This time it's a little bit more planned, not 1 month. Right now, azhhr.com. Go reserve your plate. Let us know you're coming.
Are you cooking bear meat again this year?
I'll have my bottles of bear meat, bear and elk. I told Jared I don't have no lion. My goal this year is longbow. I got a longbow and golf club with a scope on it. But longbow, I want to get a lion with a longbow, a bear with a longbow, and elk starts next month, right in my backyard. And I'm gonna go out and I'll have plenty of elk because my two boys can get a tag too.
When it hits the ground, you need to take a picture of that golf club with the scope on it, pointing at it.
I am. Well, trust me, I got aspirations of a video. It's gonna be great.
There you go.
Madison will be proud of me. Madison needs to jump on a Greyhound bus, come over here playing, and come hunt some elk next month.
Y'all have spring bear there in Arizona?
Yeah, but you can't use dogs.
Oh.
That's another thing that I could probably piss everybody off about. I know we shouldn't give up nothing, but if they got rid of spring bear, it wouldn't hurt my feelings. Because a lot of the spring bear is spot and stop. You're not going to put a bear up the tree and see her big boobies hanging down. She's been nursing. Or it's a boar. And I'm not saying, I mean, man, I've been in conversations with people that say they can tell a boar, and I've been in people that say there's no way. I've killed 4 sows in my life that I thought were boars. Well, 2 that I thought were boars at the tree. Like, just, that's how big they were. It's how blocky they were. It's how they were built just like a boar. You know, and I seen the little danglies, I swear, but she was just so fat sitting wrong. So
maybe she identified as a boar.
And honestly, spring bears should probably only be for hounds, where you have to identify and can only kill a boar. That's just pissing off all of the whole bear hunting community.
One thing you can be when things climb a tree, you can be real selective. So
you can be.
People just don't understand that.
Only 21% of bears in 2024 in Unit 1 that shut down was 21% was killed by hounds, over hounds. And it was 10 to 30% less females killed with the dogs. That's a big spread. I mean, we're only killing anywhere from 10 to 30% of sows with dogs, and we only killed 21% of the bears with dogs. I have some crazy elk in a week. There might be some other units. I just know my unit where I live is opening up in March, and it's any elk. So, but good luck hunting where I'm at because it's houses everywhere. You have to finagle your way through. There's only a few spots you're not gonna. And these people love to call the game and fish.
What's the success rate there?
I don't know. I kill 2 or 3 at a time. Is that? Oh, you mean other 6?
So your success rate is like 250%.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know you had to put the tag on. It was an electronic tag. I didn't know you had to I thought you could just kill as many as you wanted the whole month.
Oh, as long as you can get them home and butchered before anybody knows about it.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think it's real high. The golf course is kind of slim now. You know, they've been opening. It was rifle 2 years ago. Now it's ham. You know, handgun, archery, and muzzleloader. And the muzzleloaders these days, you can buy a $200-$300 muzzleloader with an inline that shoots the 209 primer that goes off every time, and you can buy a Sabot. Oh, I think they call them something else, Sabot, or pronounce it. But it's a nice big copper shell you put in a little Sabot and shove it down your barrel. Very accurate, you know. And we're supposed to be a primitive unit. And then here's where I go back to pissing everybody off. If it's a primitive unit, then let's use longbows and cap and percussion.
Yeah. Some of those muzzle loaders they got nowadays are unbelievable.
Oh, boy. Shooting 500 yards.
Yeah.
So, and you know, what did New Mexico do, Benny? They took away the scopes, right? You can't use a scope on a muzzle loader.
Yeah. And, 2 Fridays ago when we were at the Game Commission meeting in Phoenix, they were talking about some of those primitive weapons.
Yep. I mean, if you're a primitive unit, but see, we're a primitive unit, but you can use rifles on coyotes and lions and stuff. I just think in Unit 15 over there in New Mexico, isn't that a primitive unit? And you can't use nothing on anything, I don't believe.
I don't know. I do not know.
I think we should have a special opportunity that people can tree their lion and then climb up in the tree, and the only legal way to kill it is with a pocket knife.
How about a spear?
If I could, at least a Bowie knife. If I could kill a bear with a Bowie knife, I am in. I tried because it was killing a dog, and it was archery season. I didn't want to shoot it because I knew the game warden is probably listening to me somewhere. And I went in to stab it, and that sucker all of a sudden decided it wanted to let go of the dog and come after me. And what's that old saying? You don't have to be the fastest. I turned around, and everybody was gone. I'm like, what the hell? I couldn't even catch it. I'm like, thanks, guys.
They knew that they knew that saying too, Chris.
The only thing that saved me is that bear died. It came after me, and it did a little roll, like it felt its pain at that point, and that was an archery. But that's my goal. Yeah, is longbow. I want to longbow everything this year, so I can kill the hell out of a 150-pound or 100-pound bale of alfalfa. But we'll see how it happens when it's live.
Always makes a difference, doesn't it?
I kill the hell out of them bales of hay every time I hit it. So.
Guys, I've been gone for 12 days, and I'm going to get off.
Oh, God, it's been 2 hours, Brett.
Yeah, you better go take care of your first wife.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Madison,
thanks for coming on.
Did Sancho take good care of her while you were gone?
You know, I haven't even talked to that guy yet.
Well, did she come? You were gone. That's how you know he took better care.
That's a saying. For those that don't know, a saying from the Mexicans down here is that when you're gone for a long time, Sancho moves in, takes care of your wife for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sancho's a side.
And that's why your wife always wants to know what your itinerary is for coming home.
Yeah.
Now, if she's packing your bags, telling you to leave, he's taking really good care of her.
Well, heck, Sancho married my ex-wife.
Sancho tienes dinero.
Madison, you'll be hearing something through Chris and Jared, and I sent a text to Missy, and we'll see what Missy has to say if you can go over to Mule Creek. That's on the Arizona-New Mexico state line. It's really neat country.
Heck, come down here. I'll put Benny on Clyde, or we'll just go out in the buggy. Come down here, and me and Benny will go hunting with you.
Tell your dad he's going to have to work a little overtime to buy a plane ticket.
Yeah.
It's only going to be like 2-3 hours out of his life. He has to work to buy a plane ticket.
The problem is he'll want to work enough and take enough time off to go too.
Yep. And he's a
Okay, guys.
barbecuer. He's a barbecuer. Remember that.
Oh yeah.
Me and Benny have to go to
Anyway.
bed. Benny's
Yep.
been
That's
gone and tired, and I am worn out, and I'm on a mission tomorrow morning. And I gotta get permission from my wife because she's mad at me already.
You got to go catch that lion.
I might miss
Madison,
You guys,
my appointment.
Thanks for coming on, Madison. For sure.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Thank you. It was great to come on and have a conversation with you guys. Thank you.
Good luck. Don't get discouraged. Stay after it.
Oh, I won't. Yeah.
It'll happen.
That's it.
Mhm.
See ya.
Guys, hasta luego.
Later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.